LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, well. It does not matter who the host is. That is so true. Today is Tuesday, March the 29th of 2022. Day 88 of the year, and only 277 days left to go. Anyways, I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, because that's always important as we are talking, hanging and banging. So how are you doing today? So it sounds like there might have been some confusion yesterday. So let me kind of tell you if you were not here so I can explain. Yesterday, I had catastrophic failure on something that I did with some of the equipment here, so we were unable to get some of the things rolling and bowling. So I did not make it in until yesterday afternoon with some of the stuff on being able to come to you live. And some people really kind of lost their cookies, which I thought was kind of funny with that going on. But that's neither here nor there. The important part is that we get to hang out today. If you didn't hang out with us yesterday, so we'll do some things today to make up for yesterday and so on. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and we get to hang and bang with our friends and colleagues at the other place.
Radio Big.
Yes, we are hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm, just in case you did not know. So there you go. So a lot of stuff going on in the overnight, as you already are aware. I think we kind of almost say that all the time. It feels like there's always things changing, everything moving and grooving, and everything from that extent. So that's kind of a good thing. If not, let's see. We will see what happens. So let's continue talking right away about some news stories and things along those lines, because it's going to be important. So yesterday was trending in response to Will Smith assault. Yes, I did say assault on Chris Rock at Sunday night's Oscars. On Monday, Twitter was up and up about all things Smith and versus The Rock. Trending topics included Will Smith, Jada, Will, and Chris, G.I. Jane, and what's just happened. So there you go. You know, I keep on wondering if Dwayne The Rock Johnson would have been the host and would have said something similar. Not that I'm saying that he would. If there would have been a walk-up to the stage. I just have a funny feeling that the answer is no. Let's see what else was actually trending yesterday. Hard Knocks was trending after HBO revealed that the Detroit Lions training camp has been selected to be featured on this year's edition of the series. More on that later on. Don't Say Gay landed on Twitter's top 10 yesterday as trends after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed the leftist dubbed Don't Say Gay bill into law. So more about that. We can talk about that if you want to get a little swampy today. So there you go. There are some things there. As it is Tuesday, we normally do this, as you probably are fully aware if you have hung out with us in the past. We do talk about what is going on inside of the charts for us to hang and bang and talk about everything about music. So let's do that. Number 5, according to iTunes, was Cody Johnson's with Still You Can't. Number 4 was Walker Hayes with AA. And number 3 was Brantley Gilbert with Rolex on a Redneck. That's a good one. At number 2 was Elton John and Dua Lipa with Cold Heart. And this is not a mess up when I say this. At number 1 was Handsomer with Russ. So there you go. And if we go to the other side of the equation, start talking about the world of Spotify, we'll do it this way. At number 5 was Imagine Dragon with Enemy. At number 4 was Camila Cabello with Bam Bam featuring Ed Sheeran. At number 3 was Glass Animals with Heat Waves. At number 2, Justin Bieber with Ghost. And at the number 1 spot was Anita with Evolver. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there. So here's the gig. Let me tell you a little bit about how it goes. If you have not hung out with us before, let me explain kind of the lay of the land. We bring in some professional broadcasters to let you know what's going on inside of the world of the news. And then I kind of hop back in and we start talking about some other things that are going on in the news. We talk about the world of safety. Then we kind of jump back and forth, and I conjumble all this mess together and give it to you. If you want to kind of call in or send a message and all that kind of fun stuff, you're more than welcome on doing so by going to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, it will allow you to do a video message, a phone call, or even just send messaging if you want to do that across. That's callinradio.com, the most simplest way of actually doing it. I know that if you are on the streaming side of the house, and I'm talking more about like the social media aspect, you can do some things there, but it will get to us quicker if you go to callinradio.com. It's just the way that it goes. So there you go. Now you have that information, and now you know, and I know, and we both know. So I think if we hang a little bit more, what we should do is bring in our professional broadcasters and let them tell you what's going on inside of this lovely world of ours.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Another effort to end the war in Ukraine is underway. Peace talks are ongoing in Turkey, where the president there said it's about time for concrete results. Pennsylvania State Police say at least 3 people have died in a 60-vehicle chain reaction crash. Mike Moy was caught up in the pileup and filmed vehicles losing control.
Hey, oh, watch out, watch out! Oh, God! My car is gone!
It happened along southbound Interstate 81 Monday when sudden blinding snow caused cars, trucks, and semis to crash northeast of Harrisburg. County coroner said that the death toll could rise after more vehicles are searched. President Biden's new budget appears to focus on subjects voters have been especially concerned about. Mike Bauer reports.
President Biden says his 2023 budget values:
first, fiscal responsibility; second, safety and security; and thirdly, the investments needed to build a better America.
Major sections of the $5.8 trillion plan aimed at countering attacks Republicans have leveled that frame Democrats as soft on crime and responsible for soaring household costs. In it, Biden calls for about $32 billion in new spending for police, a new tax minimum on billionaires, and stresses investments in programs like child care that will help bring down costs that Americans face.
The House committee investigating the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack says former President Trump aides Peter Navarro and Dan Scavino should face criminal contempt of Congress charges. Mark Mayfield reports.
They voted unanimously to advance the measure to the full House on Monday. If the full House also says the pair should be held in contempt, they will be referred to the Justice Department for possible charges. The committee issued a report Sunday saying Navarro, former President Trump's trade advisor, and Scavino, Trump's White House deputy chief of staff, cited executive privilege for their reason for not cooperating with the panel.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Riga, I'm Ollie Barrett. Delegations from Russia and Ukraine are meeting in Istanbul for face-to-face peace talks. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is expected to discuss fresh defense deals when he meets his counterpart in New Delhi this week. The Hong Kong government's being urged to speed up its relaxation of COVID travel rules as the number of daily cases continues to fall. And a Thanksgiving service for Prince Philip is being held in London's Westminster Abbey.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Use of the diabetes drug metformin by men is linked to a 40% increase in the risk of birth defects. A study out Monday in the journal Annals of Internal Medicine found that using the drug up to 3 months before conception greatly increased the risk to the child. The only defect found in the study were genital defects in male babies. Dodgers catcher Will Smith is having a case of mistaken identity. Trey Thomas with the details.
Smith's phone was blowing up with Twitter mentions Sunday night, but he wasn't sure why. He wasn't watching the Oscars, but soon found out people were mistaking him for actor Will Smith, who had just slapped comedian Chris Rock on stage. The Dodgers Smith says countless people were either sending him messages of support or anger. Smith, the actor, issued an apology yesterday, while the catcher celebrated his 27th birthday.
Will there be another spring break curfew in Miami Beach this weekend? Commissioner Stephen Miner says that's the question as he discusses the issue with the city manager and police chief.
Chief, whether we're going to call an official commission meeting, still undetermined, but we're definitely discussing it and trying to make the best determinations with the information that we have available to us right now.
The midnight to 6 a.m. weekend curfew went into effect when the city declared a state of emergency after 5 people were shot in a 2-night period. 9 police officers have been injured and more than 100 guns seized since spring breakers started heading toward South Beach. Michael Shea says Saturday Night Live fans can stop worrying he isn't leaving. The rumors took off after the comedian joked about a potential exit during a recent stand-up performance. Monday on Instagram, Shea wrote, "I'm not leaving SNL." He shared a screen grab of an article that got the rumor mill churning. Shea wrote that he said it at a comedy show and some dork transcribed it and wrote an article. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they could be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I don't know about all that stuff, but I guess that's something to think about as we are doing this. Anyways, currently, let's take a look. It is 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. Yes, lovely Tuesday that it is. Anyways, let's start talking about some other things that are going on in this lovely, lovely world of ours as we get to hang out and do the things. By the way, are you already ready to move forward and do everything else? If not, I guess we're going to be in for a surprise altogether. Anyway, so let's talk about it. Newly proposed legislation bans ghost guns in Illinois. A new bill makes ghost guns illegal in Illinois. State Representative Cam Buckner says that the proposed legislation bans firearms that can be made from kits bought online or 3D printers. Yes, I did say 3D printers.
These firearms are untraceable, and we don't know often where they come from, but we do know that they're overrunning our streets.
Okay, Buckner hopes to get the bill passed before the end of the spring legislative session. So, I mean, let's talk about that because I think that that's going to be an interesting one. You know, if as you take a listen and as you take a gander to this whole thing, what do you think should happen? Because that's going to be a main portion here. It shouldn't just be Illinois that's having this conversation. Maybe we start talking about other regions too. You know, it's not that hard to get a hold of a 3D printer. Believe me, I'm not encouraging people here, but think about it. 3D printer, you print the freaking gun at home. Oh, whoops, that was almost a slip there. You print the gun at home, and there's no way to track it. Think about that for a moment. Boy, things can get interesting quick. I almost said it. I really did.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Did I almost just become the PG-13 show? Because I felt like I did. Why didn't I keep it rated R? I have no clue. I don't know what the hell just happened there. Anyways, Queen Pawn Shop owner was attacked. The search of a man who attacked a seriously injured Queen's Pawn Shop owner with a metal rod. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. In the middle of the day on Monday, Norman Layden has more information.
That attack took place place inside Global Pawn Shop on Jamaica Avenue, middle of the day yesterday. This neighbor found the shopkeeper on the ground just moments after he had been beaten.
I saw him lying on the floor. He was lying there with blood, then tried to get something to stop the bleeding.
Cops who raced to the scene initially thought the pawn shop owner had been shot because there was so much blood on the floor. The owner in critical condition. The man who savagely beat him is on the loose. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Thank you, Noam Layden, for that information. Not the greatest news to hear, that is for sure, but it's something to give some thought process to in regards of what is going on there. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. Biden offers $32 billion, yes, with a B, dollars in new spending for police. President Biden budgets offers new spending on law enforcement who need support for fighting crime. Mike Bowers has more information.
They need psychologists in the department as much as they need extra rifles.
In a call to fund, not defund the police, Biden said he's going to propose more money for police departments for things including intervention programs, adding police also need social workers on their staffs. But the budget also includes $1.7 billion for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives to fight illegal gun trafficking, $1.8 billion to help the U.S. Marshals Service apprehend fugitives, $69 million for the FBI to support its investigations of violent crime, and $72.1 million to prosecute violent crimes. I'm Mike Bauer.
Okay, thanks, Mike Bauer, for that one and what is going on. So what do you think here? A lot of information on the things going on out there inside of the world. I mean, it makes it interesting to listen to some of these budget measures that are taking place. It'll be interesting to see what the general public thinks as we move forward. Anyways, less than 20% of Americans can drive a manual transmission vehicle. It is no secret the way we drive is changing. Michael Kastner has more information.
The rise of electric vehicles, for example, is one development. Another is the fact that only around 18% of Americans know how to drive a manual transmission anymore. That's according to U.S. News and World Report, which points out that the stick shift is quickly fading into the past. Back in 1980, about 35% of all cars made in America were manuals. Fast forward to today, and that number has plummeted to around just 1%. I'm Michael Kastner.
Okay, thank you, Michael Kastner, for that one. Now, I have to tell you, I mean, I know that I am an old dude, so I am okay with that. But I remember that I was actually taught how to drive on a column shift truck. What the hell is a column shift? Yeah, I was asking myself that same question back in the day. So you would actually shift, not down here on the side like most places do. It's actually on the column. So right behind the steering wheel, the shifter was there, and you would move everything back and forth in that section. If I do remember correctly, yeah, I remember at least one time going into the ditch. I'm sure my father still loves me for that one, but that's a whole other thing. I think my dad had a lot of panic attacks during that time when he let me decide to be behind the wheel. I'm sure he still looks back at this day and goes, "What the hell was I thinking?" And letting that kid drive that car. Anyways, it was actually even my grandfather's truck. Now that I think about it even more, so I guess that story gets a little bit scarier. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world real quick. Let's see. Bumpy path ahead of the U.S. housing market. The spring housing market begins to look like a multi-car collision with powerful forces destined to crash into each other. Well, guess who's coming back? A little bit more Mike Bowers coming your way.
Interest rates on home mortgages have spiked more rapidly than they have in decades, reducing affordability. Builders can't get adequate supplies to construct houses more quickly, yet strong income growth and unstoppable demographic forces are propelling high demand. And with all of that, there's a likely continuation of a gap between supply and demand, making it a frustrating market for all involved. The rise in mortgage rates in recent weeks is jaw-dropping and outside the range of any recent experience, which may worsen America's housing affordability crisis. I'm Mike Bauer.
Okay, thank Mike Bowers for that. So let's ask the question, couple of weird things for you real quick. If you were actually in the market of actually purchasing a home, did you do it when the interest rates were lower? And if you did, how did that work out for you, number one? And number two, if you did not, are you asking a lot of questions right now? Because as you are aware, inflation is key. And of course, it was a seller's market for a hot minute there. And we're going to see here over the next little bit what will be taking place. Of course, talking about the housing market, well, what comes to mind right away? I start thinking about my friend, my colleague, Johnny Smalls. So let's go ahead and bring him in for him to tell you about the Market Beat Minute.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, March 29th, 2022. Equities began the week on shaky footing, but managed to rise by the end of Monday's session, leaving the S&P 500 at the highest levels in over a month. The move comes on the back of a near 10% decline in oil prices, but investors should not be complacent. This week, the market will get another read on consumer-level inflation, and it's not expected to be a good one. The PCE price index will be released on Thursday and is expected to accelerate to 5.5% year-over-year at the core level. If correct, this will be the hottest level of consumer inflation in over 3 decades, and the 11th month inflation has accelerated above the FOMC's 2% target. Other risks for the market are emerging as well. Manufacturing closings in China's key hub of Shanghai are spreading and threatening to bring a global supply chain to its knees. Even if the closings are limited and short-lived, they will have a far-reaching effect when it comes to product availability and the impact on the supply chain. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for keeping us in the loop of the things that are going on. So what are you thinking right now? Of course, you hear this from Johnny Smalls letting us know what's happening, but do you start thinking about, okay, supply chain issues, all of these things changing, and let's be realistic. With income streams potentially rising depending on where you're at, but inflation going up, how do you look at it? Also, are you taking this opportunity right now and taking a look at other sections in the job market to see if there's other positions available for you where you could get a higher rate of pay? It's not, it's not something that it's a bad question to ask, but it's something definitely to think about. It's one of those things that as you sit back for a moment, that's the way that the market evolves. I mean, you take a look at different things. When you go shopping for something, you normally take a look. I mean, most people do. I won't say you in particular, but most people go out there and will take a look to see if there is a cheaper price set, if there is a better option. So why don't you do that when it comes to your job, your career path? And I mean, don't get me wrong. Quality of life is an important portion of the whole thing. But if you take a look, will you take advantage of the salary differentials or a better quality of life? I always ask these questions because I think that they're important. People tend to forget it. Because let's put it to you this way. If you could make the same amount of money working 4 days a week opposed to 5 days a week, would you want to work the 4 days? I mean, I'll tell you, still my dream scenario is working 4 days a week, having Fridays off, and having 10 weeks vacation. That's been an idea for me since about 2005, and I still have not managed to get that to work out. Maybe someday I will pull that off, but just at this particular point, I just have not managed to get that to work for me. But I guess at some point, I probably will.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Currently 27 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging and banging and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do here as we are hanging. Anyways, let's talk about some other things real quick. Sarah Jessica Parker, Matthew Broderick opened COVID delay Broadway show. Here you go. Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick finally opened their long COVID delayed Broadway show Plaza Suite. The Great White Way last night, the husband and wife team have planned to open Neil Simon's revival back in 2020, but the pandemic hit the Broadway theaters, shut down. Broderick says when it came time to rehearse again, it was like starting a whole process over again.
It was all gone after 2 years. It took a while to get the lines back.
So there you go. The red carpet outside the Hudson Theater last night was packed with stars and friends and celebrity couples, including Cynthia Nixon and Anthony Edwards. Plaza Suite marks the first time that Broderick and Parker have worked together since they appeared on How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying back in 1996. So I just reference this because, number one, that has been that length of a delay before something actually does come about. But it's just amazing to me. Just the delay that some of these things have actually went through in regards of starting. Just 2 years. Where has the time gone? I mean, I will tell you, as I sit back now and have a discussion with people about how long ago something was, the last 2 years, because they all have seemed like one gigantic block of time. I can't even factor in how long ago that was. It's kind of an interesting one. Anyways, a Bronx car crash leads to a stabbing. NYPD cops are searching for drivers who got into a minor crash in the Bronx on Sunday that ended up with a fatal stabbing. Noam Layden has more information.
Cops say two cars got into a small fender bender on the Bruckner around midnight Sunday. Instead of trading insurance information, the two drivers were trading blows. One of them finally pulled out a knife and stabbed the other in the leg. He drove off. The injured man was rushed to the hospital where he died from his stab wound. Cops still searching for the other driver who now could face murder charges. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Explain that one to me, how he could face murder charges. If the dude's dead, I would imagine that would be what exactly it is. Just something to think about. Anyways, we are there. We are at that portion of that show of what we call, well, our main story, because it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So, you know that we evolve and we change and we talk and we move and we groove and we do all the fun stuff that we get to do. But at what point can you be inside of an organization and ask the question, what can we learn from this? Seriously, have you ever been inside of an org and all of a sudden their work is being done, because work is always being done in most organizations, but you get to the portion where something tragic happens and you ask the question that's all important of, what can we learn from this? No, seriously, it's a simple question to ask. It's not a difficult question that I'm asking you. But think about it. When can we ask that? So recently, a couple friends of mine have released a book called Do Safety Differently. This is actually a book by Sidney Decker and Todd Conklin. And what I would like for you to do, if you could bear with me for just one moment, is take a listen to this little clip of the book. And I want you to pay real close attention to what's being said here.
At the laboratory, we had an event that gained the attention of senior leadership. It seems a new postdoctoral student was doing a field experiment using a piece of sensing equipment that had a rather large battery bank to power the unit for about a year's worth of data collection. While this new student worker was setting up the equipment, he accidentally dropped a wrench into the battery box and caused a direct short across the positive and negative poles of these large batteries. The student worker was working alone, and because he was so new to the organization, he'd not yet been through our electrical safety training. The student did what he thought was the right thing to do and grabbed a stick and popped the wrench out of the battery box. Nothing happened, no injuries. The equipment still functioned, and so the grad student finished the equipment setup and started collecting data. When the grad student returned to the laboratory, he attended an electrical safety class the following week, where he learned that his event was a serious, major risk and was, in fact, reportable. So the grad student dutifully reported the event. The organization was at a loss how they should respond to this event. The leaders didn't feel they should or could punish this person for being honest, and yet the leaders felt this event was a precursor to a much more potentially serious event, because there was this moment of management of certainty. An opportunity arose to perhaps do something a little different. The boss turned to us and said these fortunate words: "I wish there was a way we could just bring everybody in a room, shut the door, and ask them what we should learn from this event." It was at that time we uttered these words back to the boss. Why can't we do that?
So there you go. That is a portion of the book read by Todd Conklin in that particular section. But what I want you to think about is that right there. Do you have the opportunity inside of your workplace to ask that question when something goes wrong? Now, the person did what they thought was right. And as you heard, based on what was just said there, this was a reportable incident. So reportable and recordable, I guess is really what I should say, because I guess everything could be reportable if you wanted to do it in that fashion. But as you're talking and thinking about this, do you work in an organization where you could have these conversations? Do you work in an organization where you can ask, what can we learn from this and move forward? And listen, I know that if you are a practitioner of human and organizational performance, you have heard of this glorious thing known as learning teams. And you have probably made some decisions based around learning teams. But at what point do you become comfortable enough that you're inside of an organization and you say, let's sit down, have this conversation, and be able to move forward? Let's learn from an event and let's not punish the person that did X. Can you do that today? And if the answer is yes, that is fantastic. That is something that tells me that your organization is a learning organization and they're constantly trying to move and improve, and that's important. But if the answer is no, what can you do to change it? How does the management of change or the system of change or the mentality of change work inside of your environment? How can you go about to make these thoughts become something different inside of the org? It's such a difficult task to do, and let's not lie about it. It's interesting to me when people sit around and go, well, if you think about it, all incidents are preventable. Well, I guess retroactively, yes, that would be the easiest way to think about it, but can you really do predictive text? Like if you went out today or you were going to go out today and you knew you were going to get into a car accident, well, something would tell me that you would not go out for a drive today. It would be like you're a precog on Minority Report. But that's not something that you would probably go out there and do. Because if you know something bad is going to happen, you're not going to do it. That would just make the most common sense. But sometimes at our workplaces, that is the assumption that we have. So how do we change the environment? How do we start laying down these processes and procedures and these mental changes inside of the org for this to start happening? You know how it starts? It starts by conversations. I'm going to tell you something. You don't have to sit inside of the room and be the smartest person inside of the room. What you need to do is be able to communicate with people. Communication is the key to the whole thing, because I will tell you, you can sit in a room with 20 employee/team members, and they will tell you more about the problems that exist inside of the organization than probably anyone else. And I will tell you, your head and 20 other people, 21 heads is a lot better heads than actually just having the thought process on your own. Never try to be the smartest person in the room. Try to be the person that's trying to learn the most inside of the room. And this is the great part about it. With this thing called learning teams, if you've not taken a look at it, I would encourage you strongly to do so. You can take a look at Todd's book by the name of Better Questions. And this will give you kind of a guidance of doing this. And if you're not familiar on how to do any of this stuff, this book known as Do Safety Differently is probably a good start for you. And here's the thing. Change is not the easiest thing to do. So if you are willing to take this journey with your organization, it's going to be a difficult one, but boy, will things change on the way that it looks. Now, here's the fun part. Not going to say I'm off my rocker today, like I have now done several times, because something tells me if you do this, you'll be down a path that you'll be very interested in.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, Go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. Oh, there you go. This one's titled FYA by Wesky. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. It is 43 minutes past the top of the hour. Oh, you know how I'm a sucker for these songs. Oh, yeah. Rated R Safety Show. Safety FM Radio Big. Well, thank you to Wesky for allowing us to play this one. Uh-oh, we're almost going full form here. You know, I envisioned these club days that I used to hang out in very long time ago. Anyways, let's get away from the past. And let's get into what's going on right now. Anyways, thanks to Wesky for allowing us to play this one. FYA is the name of the song. Oh, come on. We got 23 more seconds. Come on. Okay. We'll get out of it. We'll get out of it right now. Anyways, there you go. There you go. Right there. Some fun stuff going on. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will tell you at any point. Even if we hang out in person, I'll tell you this, and this way you get to know the same thing that I tell the people here, and even if we're in person, because this is important. Anyways, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to their website at afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. Some information just for you about that. Listen, I'm going to tell you, when you go there, you can find out about everything they have going on. You can learn about mental health and COVID, what's going on with that aspect of it. You can learn about the facts about suicide and depression. You can learn how you can make a difference. You can help. You can hear real stories. And they even do walkathons from time to time, and you can find a walk that's near you, because I'm telling you, this thing is everywhere. It's a subject matter that we need to talk about, not sometime, but all of the time. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours. Didn't see that coming. A UK company has revealed a line of invisibility shields that rely on surprising simple technology to actually make users invisible to the naked eye. Yes, that is a pregnant pause. Startup InvisibilityShield.co was inspired by Harry Potter's iconic invisibility cloak, designed as precision-engineered lens array to deflect the light that the subject sitting behind the shield away from the observer. The lenses are oriented to allow them the light from the subject to diffuse when it passes through the shield. The light are subject to background refractions towards the observer, who cannot see the subject hiding behind the shield. Because the invisibility shield relies solely on optics, it requires no power source to produce the magic. Despite being just over 2 inches or 5 centimeters thick, it weighs about 9 pounds or 4 kilograms, making it fairly portable. And though you might think that it would be expensive to be invisible, the 12-inch by 8-inch version is just $63, and a 3 by 2 foot is a reasonable $394. Looks awesome, but you still wouldn't be one. You still wouldn't want to use this one while you're naked, just in case. They could call it the other guitarist in Guns N' Roses. Might be the easiest way to do it if you're trying to be the invisible shield.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here you go. Room non-service. One of the most important and convenient hotel amenities is disappearing these days, according to NerdWallet report. Whether out of necessity or due to staff shortage or simple to save money, it seems that the daily housekeeping in many hotels is becoming more and more rare. During the pandemic early days, the transmission was more of a mystery. Many hotels cut housekeeper services to reduce the contact between strangers, but more than 2 years later, it still isn't completely returned. Some hotels are only offering housekeeping by request, with all rooms clean at least every sixth night, and other offers housekeeping every second day, which might include towel replacement, garbage removal, but not bed making. And with some cutbacks now more about money than safety, experts don't see the trend reversing anytime soon. How to ensure that you'll have housekeeping at your destination? Research your hotel ahead of time. Book a higher end place, most in which will still provide traditional daily housekeeping. And budget hotels, you still have to be able to have a daily room refreshing if you are just, if you just ask nicely. Cleaned every 6 days. Well, we're still better off staying at home, so I guess that's one thing to look at. And this is really going to cut into my supply of hotel shampoos and soap, as opposed to, the way that they do stuff here on iDrive, where housekeepers are literally disappearing. So just something to think about. So let's talk about that. Is that important to you when you go places? Because I will tell you, I normally participate and interact with a pretty big hotel chain when I used to travel all the time. And it used to be that you had to request, and this is pre-pandemic, if you wanted to have your room cleaned day in and day out. And this was something they started probably 2 years before the pandemic, which I always thought was kind of weird. But that was just one of those things. So I don't know. It's just and I don't know. It was just a weird thing. Like, I have to ask you to come and clean my room when I'm staying here. So it was like, so if I book 6 or 7, individual nights, that just means you're going to clean my room all the time. Maybe that's the way to do it.
Duh.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, I think it's time to get motivated, so let's bring in some Johnny Smalls with a Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Travis. Bruce Lee said, "The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus." I like this, but I'm probably not laser focused on things the way Bruce Lee would like. I kind of bop from one project to another, and then eventually get back to the one I should have finished before starting those other 2 or 3. So take Bruce's advice, and I'll try as well. I'm sure I would be far more successful if I could do that. My mind works differently though, and maybe yours does too. We can both try to improve our laser-like focus a little and then track our success. I'll bet Bruce Lee's quote will prove to be true. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamorgan.com. There are so many benefits to intermittent fasting, or IF, including its assistance with weight loss. Intermittent fasting is very helpful, of course, as long as it's approved by your doctor. However, sometimes, instead of losing weight with IF, people seem to gain it. How is it possible? One of the biggest reasons is that when we consume our first meal after a fasting window, our body is hypersensitive to insulin. The power of carbohydrate in the body is exponential. Insulin opens the cell doorway so that carbs can come in, but then fat can come in as well. And it's so easy to be craving a burrito or something very filling after a fast, but because your body is so likely to convert more of what you eat into fats, it's crucial to break your fast with a fat and a protein, or a carb and a protein, but not with fat and carb together. For additional information, check out alasamorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let me make sure that I have this correctly. So it is intermittent fasting is referenced as IF. So you're talking about, I'm going to do a process called IF. So that almost sounds like if I am going to do it, because I sure as shit probably wouldn't. And then the other portion is, really? We're going to take a dog on burritos? Anything Mexican food is a terrible thing to take a dig at, especially on a Tuesday, normally known as Taco Tuesday. So just some things to think about. Anyways, as we are talking, it is 52 minutes past the top of the hour. So what does that mean? That means we get to jet and we get to turbo through this thing. So let's talk about this. At the top of the hour, I will be going over exclusively to Radio Big.FM. If you want to come out and hang out and maybe feel the beat or feel the heat, maybe we'll talk a little bit about Wesky. Who the hell knows? So you can come over and do that if you're so inclined to do so. You don't have to do it. You just have the option to do so. So that's something to think about. So we will be doing that at the top of the hour, radiobig.fm, or you can hang out here so on safetyfm.com, where we will be going in to the next thing of talking about the world of safety. So don't worry about that. The options are always yours in doing so. So that's the fun part about the whole thing. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on real quick. Let's see. We're going to talk about this. President Joe Biden rolled out a new expansive $5.8 trillion budget proposal for the next budget. In the announcement on Monday, Biden said that it can be paid for if the rich just pay more in taxes. In comparison, the total tax revenue of the feds between 2017 and 2021 ranged between $3.3 trillion and $4 trillion. In fact, the total revenue increase each each year, even after sweeping tax cuts championed by the former president that went into effect in 2018. So I don't know. It will be interesting to see how this is actually moved going forward. Also, in some other news inside of the world of the swamp, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed into a bill on Monday that forbids instruction of sexual orientation and gender identity to kindergartens through third grade. The bill is dubbed by critics "Don't Say Gay Bill," has drawn intense scrutiny nationwide. So there you go. Keep in mind also that people are saying that nowhere in the bill the word gay is mentioned. So I don't know what exactly to think when it comes to that. Anyways, let's continue talking. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $60 million jackpot or a $37.9 million payout. So there you go. And of course, because you're seeing it everywhere, let's talk about this. Chris Rock declined to file a police report after being assaulted by Will Smith on stage on the Academy Awards. Per multiple outlets, the LAPD officers at the event spoke with Rock after the incident, during which he stated that he did not want to press charges. If Rock would have filed a report and Smith was charged with assault, he could have faced up to 6 months behind bars and a fine of $10,000. So, worth noting, California law classifies simple assault as a misdemeanor. Also, Rock has up to 6 months to file the report. Celebs react, and I'm going to talk about this one in particular. Radio host Howard Stern said that he was disturbed by Smith's assault on Rock. So, and he went into really some other things that probably you should listen to the Howard Stern show for, or you can find the clip online. Really, let's just be realistic. You can find that there as well. Anyways, let's talk about some other things, some things that happened back on this date. So let's take a look back in 2020. Infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci warns America may see 100,000 and 200,000 deaths from COVID. That was back in 2020. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Let's see. Fredo Bang turns 26. Jazz Thornton turns 27. Fivio Foreign turns 32. Tess Daly, 53. Lucy Lawless turns 54. Elle McPherson turns 58. And Maggie Baird turns 63 today. That's all the birthdays that are going on right there. If you are looking for a reason to celebrate today, today is National Lemon Cake Day, National Mom and Pop Business Owner Day, National Nevada Day, and National Vietnam Wars Veterans Day. So there you go. There is a whole list of things you can celebrate today if you're so inclined to do so. Let's talk about Did You Know real quick. It turns out in space, people actually can hear you scream or even sing. New data collected by NASA rover has allowed space agencies to come up with an online tool to replicate how people would sound on Mars compared to Earth. To find out what your voice would sound like, the Red Planet Earthlings links users to upload a 10-second clip to go to the Sounds of Mars section of the NASA's website. Navigate to You on Mars, then click the recording greeting. Next, you'll be invited to download and play the Mars version of your audio recording. According to NASA, on Mars, you would sound quieter and more muffled, and you'd slightly longer to hear it. So there you go. All you have to do is go to mars.nasa.gov/Mars2020/participate/sounds, and that will get you there in regards of doing it. Now, here's the fun part. We sure that you would not be muffled and be too longer to hear because you have all that headset stuff on? I mean, that's just something to think about. I think, originally it wouldn't be that hard to figure out that would be part of the reason why you'd be muffled. Just something to think about. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, here you go. It is useless to try to hold a person to anything he says while he's madly in love, drunk, or running for office. Or apparently winning an Academy Award. If you need a phone starter for today, what rule do you wish they would introduce into your favorite sports or game? If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. Question: you'll consume 9% fewer calories if you do this while eating. What is it? Wear a blindfold. Well, why the hell would you want to wear a blindfold while you're eating? Just take some pills then. Anyway, so that's it. That's all I got for you here this morning on the Rated R Safety Show. Like I said, I'm going to be going over to radiobig.fm to do Jay Allen in the morning if you want to come and hang out. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we can't do what we do here for sure. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. No one is you, and that is your power. Think about it. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Let's do this all again. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.